I'm not going to sugarcoat things. It's a fucking shit show.
Welcome back to more zombie shenanigans. This time we're on Revelations, the wild final map that was released on Black Ops 3. My experience of this map is a lot more limited than Horizon Draha at this point, because this is my third run of the map. Technically fourth, but my third actual run ended with me getting disconnected from the internet, so it immediately kicked you out and like to start a round 2, so I think I can get away with saying that doesn't count. So I know like the bare basics of this map, but that's it. I don't know any steps towards the Easter egg. I don't know much. I haven't really done... I've explored every area, but not properly explored. I've just run through each area of this map, sort of thing. And so hopefully we'll just tiddle along and see what we discover. I know about the rituals for Pack-a-Punch, and I know where the teddy bears are because I found them on my first run, because I was like, oh, I wonder if every map has a song after finding the one in Horizon Draha. But I'll get quick revive while I'm here, and then an RK5, and then try and move on, because if I can get the rituals done by round 6-ish, so I can have Pack-a-Punch open by round 6, I'd be quite happy with that. And there's also stamina up over here. I think we have to, yeah. Once you do a ritual, any perk machine on the floating island with it gets powered, so you can use it. So treat each ritual as just a obligated extended power switch. And of course, I do enjoy this map, even though I've only given it 2 proper attempts before this. It's just Horizon Draha is just so much better, in my opinion. I enjoyed Horizon Draha so much, and Zetsubo no Shima I just can't get into, no matter how hard I try. And Gold Grovey I've only done 1 run of. I have every reason that at some point I will go back and do more attempts of it and try and get more of a feel for it. But I did 1 game, I think I got to like round 7 or 8 or something like that. It wasn't high at all. Called it a day and moved on. I think I got killed by one of the dragons, or the dragon of the map, because he started breathing onto a rooftop and I wasn't expecting it and just got cooked. The Revelations is great fun. It's just a hodgepodge of all the best bits of a lot of maps. Not every single map, but enough. Like, I don't think Buried's here, and I don't think Transit's here, but like we're now in Horizon Draha. We were just in Shangri-La. The opening bits, the opening room that we started in is new. When you activate a ritual, it opens a portal behind you. The portal will take you to the original Nocturne Totem, which is really sweet. It's a busted up version of Nocturne Totem, so it's like a slight redesign with more than just the 2 stairways up to the top floor. Like there's a broken part of the floor that makes like a slope to go up and make a 3rd way up, which means you can't hold off in that corner of with a sniper rifle anymore, but it's still pretty cool. But you can also use it as a way of getting around easier as well. Just cut through the teleporters, because all 4 teleporters lead to a slightly different spot in Nuct. So if you know where each one takes you in Nuct, you can use it to get around to where you need to in the map very quickly. They also have this again, where you can turn on the switches that turns off or reduces gravity, which is probably something to do with this Easter egg as well, because I know it's to do with Horizon Draha's, but I haven't spent any time trying to learn it. And I know it's just because this is only my 3rd proper run, but I find this map a hell of a lot harder to last out in than the other maps. Because the Horizon Draha and Zetsubo no Shima, both of them have I can at least last a while. Like, so I think I've managed to get to 23 now on Horizon Draha as of this recording. And so like, I'm relatively consistent in getting past 20, which if I can do that, I'm happy. It's not brilliant. It's not... A lot of people would still say that's not good, and I'd agree it's not. Until I can get a consistent round 40, it really isn't. But it's a start. It's good enough for me. If I can get to like round 12, I'd say round 12, I'd be happy, because the highest I've got so far is round 8, which I know sounds really shabby, but I only really worked out how to do the Pack-a-Punch last attempt, and even then I kind of connected the dots near the end and then failed to finish it off. But there is an ICR in here as well, which is really helpful. It's the same as in the actual Zombie Chronicles Kino map. I don't know like if they already decided to do Zombie Chronicles and put the ICR in there, but if you've played Kino and you're used to the ICR being in the theatre, you can feel rest assured knowing it's here again. And I'm recording this a bit later than I usually do. I usually do my recordings in the morning or just after lunch. I'm doing this recording quite late in the evening. It's 9 PM. So that's probably why I'm sounding a bit calmer, a bit cooler, because I'm a little bit more, not tired, but just worn of the day. And I'm just doing it as I want to learn Revelations a bit better. I know how to do it, I just need to do it, sort of thing. Also, Widow's up where Pap used to be in Kino as well, so if you want Widow, it's there. It's 4,000 points, which is mightily expensive. I think it's almost a bit too much for Widow. Don't get me wrong, Widow's really good. It gives you, like every time you're hit, you give off like a little webby explosion that holds zombies in place and allows you to escape. But it takes up a grenade, and it still hurts you from the whack. So you can still get beaten up. If there's loads of zombies warming you, you'll still get beaten up and die exploding. And like I said, it spends it off your grenades. So it's not, like, it's alright, but it's not as powerful as people make out it to be. Don't get me wrong, in the right hands, I'm sure it's godlike. It can really pull you out of a pinch. It's just, if I have to choose between that and Jug, I'm going Jug. And I say all this like getting into zombies and whatnot, but I have no intention of getting Black Ops 4 when it comes out. Not yet, anyway. When it drops significantly in price and out of the radar, probably when all the DLC's out, maybe I'll consider it, depending on how all the zombie maps seem to be. Because I am interested in Black Ops 4 zombies and what they're doing. The whole making a second storyline that isn't as complicated. Because I think they kind of need to do a story that's a fresh start, just to then have one to call their own. But at the same time, I'm also glad that alongside it they're continuing the original with the cycle's been broken with Blood of the Dead because of various bullshit, mostly doing to do with Weevil breaking the cycle. I think that's his nickname, Weevil or something like that. But anyway, like, he broke because there's one of the cycle, he broke the cycle. The chronorium changed, and so Richtoffen's safety ticket of having the blood vial, so having paradoxal blood in him, is broken, so he needs to find it. And that's an interesting development, I think, for Blood of the Dead. It's not confirmed, that bit, it's just everyone's kind of agreed that's probably what it is. And then there's also that other map, the Superior map, Classified, which the only reason I'm interested in Classified is because it's a remake of 5, the map from Black Ops 1 that no one talks about. And I don't worry, I don't mind. I get why people don't talk about 5 that much, because it launched with Kino, and everyone played Kino. Because Kino's just a really good map. But 5 still is pretty good, and it's the only one map, I think, to have the bonfire sail power up. Not just the fire sail, the bonfire sail. That made Pack-a-Punch 1,000 points instead of 5,000. And made it so all the teleporters in the area took you straight to the PAP instead of wherever they usually took you. Which I just thought was cool. I'd like to see them do that again. That's really cool. But anyway, here's the third teddy bear for the song, which whilst I'm on the topic, the song's really cool. It's not as good as Dries and Draha's Dead Again and 115 from Kino, like the main two that I really enjoy. But I like it as sort of like an end of the era feeling track. Like, there's a lot of softer parts to this track, especially that opening, where it almost feels like this is the end of the journey, the end of this arc of the story. And so they just embrace it in style, because I've seen all the cutscenes, so I know how this all ends. And it ends with just shit getting really out of whack, because the whole group is supposed to stop existing. Actually, I should probably shut up for a second. Oh no, I've got that, so it's fine. They're supposed to stop existing, but because they drunk the blood of dimensions that no longer exist, dimensions that have been closed off, it creates a paradox. Richtoffen having the blood of people from Mob of the Dead, and the other 3 having the blood from the Victus group, aka the Transit group. So I'm trying to get my bearings as I talk this through. So Dr. Monty, who is essentially God, sends them back in time to the Crusades to try and repair the cycle, since he can't get rid of them properly. And it ends up remaking that whole dodgy cycle with Shadows of Evil and Origin and all the maps in this and yada yada. But that cycle seemingly gets broken in Blood of the Dead, the new Black Ops 4 map, and apparently they're expanding the map as well. They're not just sort of remastering it, it's a full-on remake. That they've opened up new areas and new doors, things like that, and made the map bigger. So I'm kind of interested to see how they do it, because although Mob of the Dead wasn't necessarily my favourite map, I know it was a lot of people's favourite maps, so I am interested to see how they handle it. Also, if you're wondering why I'm still lingering in Nukt, I want to start trying to build up some points for packs since all the rituals are done, but I'm kind of also leaning towards going and getting Speed Cola since it's on the ground floor of Rukt. To be fair, that's also the thing. If you're doing this like co-op with mates, it's the easiest map to landmark for your mates. Like, you can just say, oh, I'm in Varuk, oh, I'm in Kino, I'm in Shino Numa's not a part of this, I'm in Shangri-La, I'm in Derizendraha's Pyramid Room, etc, etc. I'm in the Origins field, because Origins is also a part of this. Because it makes it much easier for friends if they're not as into zombies, but most people know the maps are zombies. You say the name, people know what you mean, because most of them are pretty iconic. Oh, there's already zombies here, I might as well just use the double points now quickly. Also, I'm trying to go with more simplistic gobblegums, so then it's not powerful, which is why I'm going things like 3 double points or danger closest, because since there's no PhD flopper. Just to mix it up a bit. I know it'll probably screw me over in the end, but I don't want to be using powerful stuff like Raindrop or Perkaholic and things like that all the time. I want to try and use lesser powerful stuff, because then it encourages me to, you know, do better, to try harder, to get better at it. But I'm also aware that I'm approaching round 8, and on the round where the run that I got to round 8, because my first attempt I think I didn't know anything, and so died pretty quickly, because when you don't know anything you do just kind of get overcome quite quickly. I died to the Magwas, you know, that big 3-headed freak that's from Shadows of Evil that takes forever to kill, and it's like, if you know how to deal with them somewhat consistently, it's okay. If you don't, they just murk you. Well, that's what happened. Because I only played Shadows of Evil like before I got the DLCs. The moment I got the DLCs, I haven't played it much at all. I have gone back to it, like after I did the last when I did the recording for Derizendraha, after that I did Shadows of Evil, and although I didn't get as far around attempt as I last did, I did get Pack-a-Punch. I did do the 4 rituals on that as well to get Pack-a-Punch, and I was quite chuffed about that because it's really annoying. Because you have to know to take the monster to very precise spots to get precise items, and then actually make it break precise walls or power electric boxes, so then you can get them all access. And then when you do it, you have to find one of the rifts and take you under and put the rifts into place. Do some wall running, and then you finally get your pap. And I don't know if I'll play Shadows that much afterwards. Like, I'm glad I did the Pack-a-Punch, but I'm certainly not chasing the Easter egg. Actually, I say that, I don't think it's possible because it requires 4 players to do it. But either way, I'm not fussed because I don't enjoy Shadows of Evil. Some people like it, it's not my cup of tea. I wouldn't say it's the weakest map. I feel the weakest map for me is Zetsubo no Shima. But that's just because I struggled to get around the map, I struggled to enjoy it. After that, I'd probably say Shadows of Evil, then God Grovey, then Revelations, then Eisendraha at the top. And that's ignoring all the maps adding in Zombie Chronicles, because then it's all over the place. I've got 7,000 points, so I feel quite comfortable going over and papping the ICR. And then afterwards, I can decide what 4th perk I want. Like, I might get Widow, but I'm also tempting Stamina Up, because Stamina Up's quite a helpful perk to have. All you're waiting for is, well, like this, it's actually quite nice timing. When it flashes red, you just go up to it and hold square, and it will zap the Apothicon, the giant ass monster that's always flying around the map, that 8 Pack-a-Punch at the start of the map. When he's held down, he's held down for good. I've never seen him get out. He might do, but as far as I'm concerned, he's held down for long enough that you never need to take concern. All you need to do is run through this internal structure, find this, and shoot the stems holding it, and as Rick Toffen just commented, it's holding pap. So once you shoot it, it will release pap so you can go use it. I think if you stay in here too long, like a bunch of like stomach acids will try and force you out. But outside of that, you can stay in here for quite a long time. I've also heard that if you shoot the... Ow, that actually hurt a lot. I've got Jug, why did that hurt so much? I've also heard that if you shoot any things that aren't those 3 tubes of release pap too much, the Apothicon like gets you out anyway because you hurt it or something like that. But I haven't tried it to find out. But I've got a papped ICR, so we should be a little bit more comfortable. The next thing to do would be try and find a mystery box, because I haven't seen it once yet, and we've nearly circled the whole map. The only area we haven't been to is Origins. And I'm pretty sure I didn't see the light over Origins, so I don't think it's going to be there. So you can hold out on the Kino Theatre like the good old days, but the theatre has changed. It's not the same as it once was. And so I... Probably just because it fights with what I'm used to, but I find it harder to survive on it than original Kino. And I'm trying, like with the zombies, I'm always trying to do runs on like, because like the first one I did where I didn't talk over it, I did it on Kino just to sort of mess around and show that I might do this sort of stuff. But if I can, I'll try and do it on the maps I'm less familiar with, because I think it'd just be more interesting. Now, if I do Kino, most people know what they're doing on Kino. Even if you get to a high round or not, most people know the pattern, know what they're kind of doing on Kino. Once you get comfortable, it's just wrapping up traps, making sure you have dead wire, and then just circling around the theatre and only really leaving the theatre if you get a bit overwhelmed. And then you just circle around, hit the fire trap or the electric trap as you go by just to cut you some break. And circle around, maybe pick up the Bowie knife for after a while. But like I said, most people kind of know what they're doing. I was hesitating to pick it up because there was an insta-kill right in front of me. Like I said, I can't see any loot box, mystery box lights. So I'm going to make the assumption that it's not there. I think that's one thing I'll note that's actually quite really cool and I love about this map. Depending on what area you are, changes what the starting round and your death theme is. Which I love. Like when I were in Verrucht, it played the Verrucht round start theme. And if we died it would play the Verrucht death theme. Same as now when we're in Mob of the Dead, if we go advance around, it will play Mob of the Dead's round advancement sort of thing. I think that's a really cool idea, but it just makes me miss the old laughter more. Because I think it was Die Rise in Black Ops 2 was the last map to properly have the old laughter in the death screen. Everything afterwards, Buried, Origins, the entire Black Ops 3 doesn't have the old traditional laugh when you die. Like the zombie laugh where they're almost mocking you in the game over screen. Which I kind of missed. Like, don't get me wrong, the pieces they play now is cool and all, but I just kind of miss it. Like how they don't have Shino Numa, but they have this trap from Shino Numa on here. I say that knowing full well that I've barely played any Origins, so it might be on Origins as well, but I just know it from Shino Numa. Because it was like the best trap in World at War. It was the way you survived. And no, I'm not getting double tap. Some people prefer double tap and say it's really handy, especially if you've got an LMG. But it's not my cup of tea. I'd much rather have something else other than double tap, like either Widow or Speed Cola, which is why I got it, or Stamina Up, something like that. But when you go over here, you complete the cycle. There's a trophy for running in a full circle around all the areas within 2 minutes. I haven't bothered doing it, and I won't do it in this run because I'll just be wasting time on the footage. But at some point I'd like to do it, just for laughs. I don't know why it gets so bright every so often. Like, I assume that's something to do with the giant, like, Nova Star thing that the Shadow Man put in place. But it just seems weird. Like, at first I thought it was the Apothicon, but the Apothecon's still held down and knocked, so it's not that. And I could go Pap again, to be fair. Try and get something special on it. Either that, or I could buy something to replace the RK5. Oh, okay, the box is in the Reisendrache, I think. There's a green light. But is that the green light for the box, or is that the green light for the... trying to think. The Wonder Fizz, the Perca-Cola machines where you buy Perca-Colas from. The Wonder Fizz machine. This is an alternate door into the theatre, by the way, down here. Which takes you out down to the bottom route, so it's kind of handy. You have a way in from the top and a way in from the bottom. I just like being able to go up on the stage. There's something about that I like. Okay, the Margwa's here. So I'm going to have to be very careful, so I'm probably almost definitely going to die here. Can I squeeze through that gap? No. Alright, that's first down. Round 11, first down. I'm already higher than my record, so I don't really care.
He doesn't understand you.
But the Marg was always a pain in the ass. I'm not that good at dealing with it, so I'm just going to try and get some distance and hope for the best. He's also immune to instant kills, I know that much, so I'm just going to use it to thin the numbers around him. There he is. Ow. Yeah, I'll get Widow. Since I can't immediately go over and get Jug, I'll get Widow instead. Ooh, and a death machine, that's very handy. The only thing that makes this better is the double points, because it gives you 500 points per head you break. So if you can get double points and then take down a Marquard, that's 3,000 points up for grabs, for goodness sake. Plus the odd extra because you release one of the little flying shits every time. Do you think that's just something I'm actually curious about? Like, because I haven't got far enough on this map to check, but do you think, like, all of the bonus enemies spawn here? Like, do you think the Hellhounds can spawn? Do you think they, the meatball things, the the rollers that come at you spawn? Things like that. Do you think the spiders from Zetsubo spawn? I hope not. But I say that, the spiders are probably the easiest to deal with of all of them. The only thing that was annoying about the spiders is that they would block off doors you've already opened, so you'd have to knife through them. Or throw a grenade at them. But that was it, really. The spiders I thought were actually kind of useless. They were very easy to deal with. There was a bigger breather round than the dogs. And the dogs are already a breather round because their health never increases. And I thought I'd buy a cane just because it's right there. And I like the cane anyway. And having both the ICR and KN be quite close to each other, one in the theatre, the other in Varux, is quite handy if I need to restock them. Especially because the ICR's papped, so it's going to cost 4,500 to get more ammo for it if I need it. I'm going to head back in the Nuct though, just because, you know, chug. To be fair, like, since Jug and Nuct is on its separate thing, separate from all the rituals, I wonder if it's active from the start of the map. Like, if you do just one ritual, you can go get Jug. I'm quite curious about that. Or whether you have to do all 4 of them, because then it's max power. Because my instinct is telling me to go here, but I know that won't work because they can come up back behind me now because of the slope. So I'll just get rushed from behind. It won't work. I need to move. Which is fair enough. Way to balance an old map, like the very first zombie map you ever did, to make it so you can actually move around it and make it more of a training map still, instead of a hold the line map. So don't get me wrong, you can train about it if you just hold on the bottom floor and don't open the door straight to the mystery box. If you go the other way around to it instead, it's easier to hold the zombies around and cycle round. But having a third way up around with the slope makes it a lot easier for people who want to train in Nuct to train in Nuct. And I'm still doing the good old slide jump. I'm getting a little bit better with it, but I'm still not brilliant. I'll nab my quick revive so I can be a little bit more comfortable about trying to get to a higher round. I'm on round 13, so like, as much as that's a really low round number in the okay, these guys can spawn out of the rituals. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. As I was saying, like, as much as it still isn't a high round, the fact this is my third proper attempt on the map, I'd be happy if I end up going down like any point after this round. Really, I'd be content. Like, I would get stamina up, but I don't have any way. Yeah, these guys spawn normally now, and I'm running out of ammo, so I need to go buy more. Actually, I can just throw one of the Widow nades and try and get some extra points out of it. Because that'll rally up points as I go. That's the wrong way. I need to go this way. So that way leads to a straight circle, the path I was on. Oh, and there's the Perca-Cola, the Wonder Fizz. So excuse me. I've got exactly enough points to re-ammo it. I should really spend these 5 bullets just before I go, just, you know, make the most of it. I'm also aware that I've just left a lot of zombies behind, so now I need to kind of circle around the top here to get around for another shot. I really should have just taken it while I had the chance. If zombies come face first in me, I'm trapped in this room, so I'm trying to move as quick as I can so that doesn't happen. There we go. I've noticed that they give like all the Pack-a-Punch guns nowadays really fancy names. Like, remember when the hammer was introduced and its Pack-a-Punch name was Sledgehammer? They literally just threw Sledge on its name and they just called it a day. Or like the starting pistol had a really cool little name of Mustang and Sally, and now they all have to be really fancy shit. Yeah, I say all this, but I don't mind. It's still a cool name. Like using like the Anointed Avenger when you're using the KN or something like that. They're cool. That's cool. Or using whatever that weird, definitely not English, the Wrath of the Ancients upgraded bow names are. That all start with really weird letters and have weird apostrophes and accents on them. You're like, what is this? Hey, liquid divinium. Handy. To be fair, that's something I kind of hope they do with Black Ops 4. If they bring back Gobblegums, I hope they don't make them as powerful. As much as I enjoy how powerful some of them really are, I feel like it kind of breaks the balance of the game in two in some ways, where you can just casually stroll in with all 9 perks. Because Electric Cherry's on this map as well, I think. Turret? Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, I might have to use that at some time. There's only like one guy left, so I won't use it this time, but oh, I'll have to keep that in mind. That could be interesting. I wonder how it works. I wonder if it's the same as like when it summons in, but it just drops all the fire bombs down the ground. Oh great, more Shadow Men people, so it's going to be more enemies from Shadows of Evil. Is it just going to be more the flying guys, or are we going to have like the weird crawler walking guys? Oh, we've got the crawling guys as well. Have we got to have the meatballs as well, or is it just these guys? If it's just these two, that's handleable, because these guys are just slower dogs. That killed me. Alright, neat. I had to say that out loud, didn't I? But they just spawn more often and they're in bigger numbers. That's the balance. But they're slower dogs. They have about the same amount of health, I think. Round 15. Ooh, building his way up. Let's go get Jug. But, Dr. Monty, you can talk to me all you want about like trying to get stuff done, but I have no idea any step of the Easter egg, and I'm not going to start now. So you're wasting your time. Like, the world is not going to get saved today. It'll be saved by YouTubers probably.
Oh, now that's a flavor I enjoy.
But then from what I've heard, like, this is like one of the worst maps to try and get the Easter egg on, because it's just a lot of really mundane shit, like a lot of really repetitive, out of place, poorly organised shit from what I've heard. There's enemies behind me. Well, alright, I'll take that on the chin. Round 15, I'll take that on the chin. I think I've learnt a fair bit on this map for this round, and I enjoyed it. And it's playing the Nuck to Death music, because that's the area I died in. But cheers for tuning in. You guys take care.